The last space or place where we can apply destructuring is when we pass dynamic parameters to a function as objects. So copy this script, create a new file, clean up, define a function called add that can take any number of parameters and add them up. Console.log, this is where we are going to display the result, and when we invoke this function we can use a object literal kind of a syntax and pass in dynamic properties to these parameters. Here num1 colon 10 comma num2 colon 20 comma num3 colon 30, and to access these we can use options.num1 comma options.num1 plus options.num2 plus options.num3. So this is one way to pass dynamic parameters. We can get rid of num3 if we don't want to at any point. Save it as functions.html or function parameters.html. Open up the function parameters.html, go to the console, and the output is 60, which is not surprising. So this function receives these three parameters and adds them up. But this syntax here is very long. This is where destructuring comes in. Instead of options here, you can use angular brackets, and within those angular brackets we can refer to these properties num1 comma num2 comma num3, and then we need not use options at all. We can directly use num1 plus num2 plus num3. Save it, go back to the web browser, refresh. The output still remains the same, but this time you have done function parameter destructuring. And another advantage, you can even define default values here. So if I don't pass num1 as the parameter value, then you can use 10 here as a default value. Save it, go back to the web browser, refresh. The output still remains the same. If you change it to 20, save it, come back, refresh. Now the output is 70. So to use the function parameter destructuring, simply use the angular syntax or the angular bracket syntax followed by the names of your variables which you are using when you invoke the function, and you can even define default values for those parameters using the is equal to operator.